Dungeon Masters. This is a game for 2 to 4 players. Players are going to be competing to make the perfect difficulty of dungeon. You want to make it as hard as possible without making it so every single adventurer dies. Let me show you how to play with 2 players. At the beginning of each game, each player will get 2 of these modifier tokens. They will represent the 4 different damage types in this game. There is ice, which is blue, poison, which is green, fire, which is red, and traps, which is black. In this game, there are 5 adventurers in a party, and they are trying to get through the dungeon. There's one that has resistance to cold, one that has resistance to fire, one that has resistance to poison, one that has resistance to traps, and then a big one that just has more health than the rest of them. Each player will have 2 cards in their hand. In each turn, they will choose 1 card to extend the dungeon. They can place a card either direction, either this way or this way, but the paths will always connect up. To finish setup, each player will choose 1 card that they can play however they like. Then both players will redraw to having 2 cards. On player's turn, they will choose one of their 2 cards to play with the same placement rules as setup. Then they will move all the adventurers from their current space along the path into the next card in the row. There are a couple rules with moving. 1, if a character has a resistance to a certain type, it will move to that space, and these are all color-coded. So blue will move to the blue area, red will move to the red area, and then it's up to this player to choose where the other ones go. In this case, they might want to send them to the lower path because they know that they won't have any danger in the next room if they go to the lower path. So as we move the green character in here, the green does not match the color, so it will take a damage. So it goes from 4 health down to 3 health. Whenever a player deals damage to one of the NPCs, they get 1 point in the form of these tokens. And a player's turn ends once they move all of the characters into the next room. So in this case, after moving all the characters, a total of 3 damage has been dealt. So this player received a total of 3 points. The room that was just left is then discarded, and all the remaining cards are slid over. This player redraws a card, and then it is the next player's turn. This player is choosing to place their room like this, and now they're going to move each of the characters. This character will follow this path and move into this fire room, and since they do not match the color, they take 1 damage, and they gain 1 point. Then the rest of these have to move along the path, and they do not take any damage, because there is no danger. The card is discarded, and it is the next player's turn. This player could choose to use one of their 2 tokens on their turn as well if they wanted to. Their tokens either have an element on one side or are blank on the other side. And they can use it to cover up any hazard. So they could turn this hazard into a trap, or if they wanted to, they could make this hazard non-existent. Now it's back to this player. They get to place their card however they like. They might choose to place them like this. And now they move each of the characters. This character moves into the spikes. Since it's not matching the color, it will move down to 2 health. They get 1 point. Then the rest of these will move into this room, and there's no hazard, so they won't take any damage. If that character would ever lose a health, and they only have 1 health left, it is removed from the board by the player who is moving them. This game can end in one of 2 ways. If all the cards have been placed out, and the NPCs reach the final card, or if all of the NPCs are killed. The player who killed the final NPC will lose 5 points, and at the end of the game, the player with the most points wins the game. And that is Dungeon Masters. Thanks for watching.